Jose Mourinho and Mino Raiola plan huge Manchester United transfer summer. For the set, would it be the third summer in a row? We did it the first summer with Pogba and Raiola. We did it last year with Lukaku and Raiola. Mkhitaryan the first summer as well. I suspect we're going to go big again with him. And you know, a lot of people call Mino Raiola greedy, and you know he takes massive fees. But yeah, of course he does. Of course it's immoral. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. That's the way football is at the moment. The agents take ridiculous amounts of money. 25 million was rumoured that he got for the Pogba deal. Absolutely sickening, wrong. But he's not the only one. And until football in general deals with that, he's not the only one. So Manchester United, we have this very, very powerful agent that's helped us out over the last couple of years. He helped us with the Mkhitaryan deal. Of course, Mkhitaryan's his client, but he still helped us. He got that deal through. And I think this summer will be very, really big. What you got to remember with Raiola is he can't stand Pep Guardiola as well. So him and Mourinho have something in common there. And who are we talking about when we talk about Raiola and what is realistic? Because some people, what he's actually done recently is he's cut his stable of players down. It's a bit like wrestling in the old days, isn't it? The Raiola stable. So he's got Pogba in there. He's got obviously Mkhitaryan, Lukaku, and a few others. But most telling of all is Justin Kluivert and Marco Verratti of PSG. Now, Nightmare TV's made a contribution. How many signings do you think we'll make in the summer, and who do you think they will be? So I will answer that in that question in a short while. But let's start off with Verratti at PSG. So I've left the link in the video description for That's Football, because tonight we are doing, I won't be live on here at 8 o'clock because I am watching England versus Italy on That's Football at 8 o'clock. So the link's in the video description for that. Click it, it's a subscribe link. So if you click it, just click subscribe, get your notifications on, and then when we go live at 7:45 tonight, you can just join us. Because what that's going to be, England versus Italy, is, you know, I'm not a massive fan of watching England play. I'd rather paint my wall. But we did it on Friday. It's a great chance to have a bit of banter, a bit of a chat, a bit of a Q&A, talk about football in general, keep an eye on Germany, Brazil and all the other games. But from a Manchester United point of view, it's Scout Watch, because you've got Verratti and you've got Jorginho both playing for Italy tonight, both potential targets for Manchester United. Now, Jorginho, Milankovic-Savic have been mentioned a lot with United. Verratti hasn't. Verratti is a client of Mino Raiola. That is key this summer. Mino Raiola will provide Manchester United with a player. Now, I don't know whether this deal that we've done with him actually involves him giving us a player every summer or not, or whether it's just a convenience thing. But Verratti has been at PSG for 6 years. He's only 25, but he spent most of his career at PSG. He's looking for a move away. A lot of people feel it would be Barcelona or Real Madrid. Don't fall into that trap when it comes to Mino Raiola, because a lot of people thought that with Pogba. 5'5", very, very attacking midfielder, but very good defensively as well, box to box. If you had Verratti, Matic and Pogba, you'd have a very, very balanced midfield there. Would Mourinho go for somebody a bit smaller as well? I think that would surprise a lot of people. But don't underestimate the fact that Manchester United could move for Verratti. He would probably cost in the region of 70-80 million pounds, and that's something that United could play. So everyone's thinking Milankovic-Savic, but Verratti is that. You can never underestimate the Mino Raiola thing. You cannot do that. Why not a George Mendes client, says Kato Ellis. I've been asking that for 2 years, why we are not able to do any business with George Mendes when he is Mourinho's agent. But apparently there's a bit of a problem between United and him because of the De Gea deal. But it is very, very interesting with regards to Verratti, because 5 years at PSG, he probably will move this summer. Now this is key as well. No World Cup for Italy. So everyone, you know, even I'm panicked by it. The World Cup's going to take up a massive amount of this summer. Then the season starts early and the transfer window closes on August the 11th. So how do you sign people who are part of the World Cup? How will that work out? Verratti's not. He's not going to the World Cup because Italy aren't going it. Valentino says, any Isco news? I think we've got zero chance of getting Isco from Real Madrid. And I see his name mentioned a lot. He's a decent player. We won't get him out of Real Madrid. Not at all. Especially what you've got to consider is, if De Gea is staying, we don't get anything from Real Madrid. We tried to get Morata last year, and we ended up going for Lukaku because they messed us around. Jorginho or Savic, says Fionn Curtin. For me, Milankovic-Savic, but Watch England-Italy tonight. Watch it with us on the watch-along and watch Jorginho and Verratti, but watch Jorginho. You'll get a really good... I'm excited about that because I watch a lot of Italian football. I know that bores people, but I do. And this is against English opposition, so let's see how Jorginho does, because that's what he's got to do, adapt his game from the Premier League to Serie A. Now, Justin Kluivert, I always get his name wrong. Kluivert, whatever you want to call him. Ajax. Made his debut last night for Holland, came on. Now, he's very interesting. He is very interesting because his contract is up next summer. Not this summer, next summer. Like Aaron Ramsey we were talking about last night. He's got 1 year left on his contract. So Ajax need to do something this summer with him. Now, I don't think he's going to stay at Ajax. He's not going to sign a new contract. So what is he going to do? His dad is apparently, Patrick Kluivert, has advised him not to go to Manchester United. However, his agent, is Mino Raiola. So again, even if it's not Verratti, maybe it's Kluivert. Now, Barcelona are obviously interested in him, and then there's the talk there from Messi. He's not lit up the world at Ajax, I've got to say, and we did sign a very talented winger from Holland once before who flopped, called Memphis Depay. So, look, if we were to get Mino Raiola, then that's not, not Mino Raiola. If we were to get Patrick Kluivert, then we're not getting him. Justin, his son, then that would be a good signing for us because he's a young kid. I think he's 19, coming up for 19. Skillful winger, and but lots and lots of development in him. So I'd be excited by him because it's not really the sort of Mourinho signing that he makes. But I nearly swore, but we will definitely do a deal with Mino Raiola this summer, and the two big ones are Verratti and Kluivert. So who would you want? What would you prefer? And I think United, we all know we need a right winger, and Kluivert can play there, but we also need a midfielder as well, and Verratti can play there. But neither of them actually fit with what Mourinho wants, because Verratti's 5'5" and Kluivert's 18, I think, at the moment. So one's really young and needs a lot of development. The other one's really small and is a midfielder. And that does, so Mourinho's got to. I said Mourinho was going to change. He's got to change. I believe we will get one of those players. If you looked at the thumbnail, Arturo Vidal features on there, and I think he's a really, really interesting one. There's a bit of a myth going around that he doesn't get on with Alexis Sanchez, but when he signed for Manchester United, the quote Vidal said was, really pleased for Sanchez to get such a big move. I hope he can win lots of titles at Manchester United. Now, Vidal to Manchester United, quintessential box-to-box, tenacious midfielder that, again, if you've got Pogba, Matic and Vidal, what a midfield three that is. What a midfield three that is. It massively improves us. And again, like Verratti, he is the sort of midfielder that we need. Something a bit different to Matic and Pogba, but world-class in his own right. His contract's up in 2019, like Kluivert. And that is huge, because it's like, unless he signs a new contract at Bayern Munich, they're going to let him go this summer, and he's going to go. Well, they might keep him for another year, but he's going to go for a decent fee. A decent fee meaning cheap for us. The only thing about Vidal is 31 in May. Now, is that worth the punt for Vidal to grab him at 31? It goes against a lot of what I've been saying recently, that I'm fed up of us buying short-term fixes. But if he was cheap, like 20 million cheap, why wouldn't you do that? I'd still want to get somebody else. My theory around Vidal would be this: sign Vidal, sign Milankovic-Savic, or sign Vidal and Verratti, or sign Vidal and Jorginho. Carrick retires, Fellaini gets thrown out the door, and Herrera moves on. That works. Vidal and one other for Carrick, Fellaini and Herrera is fine, because we've got McTominay coming through, Twansibi, Fosu Mensah, and I think we need to sign two midfielders anyway. So Vidal is the same sort of player as Nainggolan, would be a cracking lad, says Samuel Kuma. Exactly, I think that's exactly what we need. And Nainggolan is very similar. I mean, I don't think we're going to get him, or I would take him, but I think Nainggolan's 29, so 29, 31, not much of a difference really. I believe in Sanchez, and next season United will win the league, says Stephen Dennis. I would take, Kingdom FX has just blown it wide open and said Verratti and Fabinho, that would be amazing. Well, yeah, that would be the ideal. And Tan Mai says we've already got Matic for a short-term fix. But I would get Vidal if we were getting somebody else as well. And I think United need to get two midfielders. So Vidal and somebody else, yes, yes, yes. Fellaini. I'm going to read your comments and get in. Get Jorginho from Napoli, says Choreoscope Plays. Remember, tonight, Italy are playing England, and we will be doing a watch along on That's Football. Link in the video description. Click the subscribe, get your notifications on, and join us at 8 o'clock tonight on That's Football, because Jorginho's playing for Italy. Verratti's also playing. Watch along, chat, and all that jazz. Fellaini, wrap him up and send him off to Monaco. Apparently Monaco are now interested in Fellaini. Remember, he's free this summer. He hasn't signed a new contract. He's free. He has got to go. He's got to leave this club as far as I'm concerned. It's not United Stand opinion. This is Mark Goldbridge opinion. If that deal's done, it's a weight off my shoulders. And he's free. And if Monaco want him, come and bloody get him. You can have him. Please do. Luke Shaw, linked to Barcelona. Nonsense. I cannot for 1 minute believe that there is anything in that. It was in the Daily Mail for a start. Daily Mirror, sorry, for a start. Apparently Barcelona are interested in Luke Shaw. Now, I would laugh if Luke Shaw went to Barcelona and turned out to be one of the best left-backs in the world, because it would only... I never said he was going to be one of the best left-backs in the world. Mourinho did, actually, a couple of months ago. I still think he's one of the best left-backs in England. I want Luke Shaw, if he leaves to Manchester United, to prove that, because it only validates what I've always felt about Luke Shaw. I accept that the journey at Manchester United looks like it's over. That's sad. We have to move on, he has to move on, and Mourinho has to go and get a decent left-back in. But Barcelona, Luke Shaw, I'd like to see it happen, because it would, like I say, it would vindicate what I think about him and a lot of others think about him. But if Luke Shaw leaves United, I do wish him all the best. Say if Martial gets forced out, I wish him all the best, because it's the manager who's done it. It's not like they've turned their back on the club. It's the manager who's done it, and I back the manager. But you know, some players leave the club, and you wish them all the best, don't you? A lot of people wished Mkhitaryan all the best in January. Kieran Tierney from Celtic is a potential left back signing this summer. 20 years of age, done very well at Celtic. Come through the system there, playing for Scotland. 5'10". Ticks a lot of boxes, very good going forward, very fast, really good up and coming left back, and why not? You know, we talk about Ryan Sessegnon being a young English one. Well, Tierney's a bit more experienced than him. We talk about Alexandro. You know, I'd be happy with any of those three. If Luke Shaw's going to go, I'd be happy with any of those three. Personally, I'd like Luke Shaw to stay. He's already at the club, and still go and sign a Kieran Tierney or a Ryan Sessegnon and let them fight it out amongst themselves, because I think that would be good for United. But how much would Celtic want for Tierney? His contract is until 2023, I think. He's well under contract, and are you really going to spend £30 million on a Scottish left back? And I'm not being like against Scottish. Well, I am, because it's a pub league. How good is he? We won't know until he comes south of the border. And the reality is, I'll give you a bit of a history lesson here. I'm obviously older than a lot of people, and Rangers and Celtic have been very good for many years. And over the years, players have come down south of the border from Rangers and Celtic that were brilliant up there, and very few of them actually play for top four clubs, because the standard of football in the Scottish Premier League is probably lower Premier League, high Championship level. And so buying Tierney from Celtic doesn't mean he's going to be a top four player for United. And examples of that over the years, you've had people like John Collins, who was brilliant at Celtic, Everton. That was always, to be fair, a lot of players did that. From up north, they'd come and play from Scotland, they'd come and play for Everton. And that's the sort of level their good players play at. So, but, you know, doesn't mean it wouldn't work. I know a lot of you like him, so let's see. Avinash says we needed 2 centre midfielders last summer and we got 1. Again, we need 2 centre midfielders. We should have signed James James last summer instead of extending Zlatan's contract. Theon Curtin's right. Tierney signed a 6-year contract a few months ago. Lynn Hall, we need to buy 2 out of Savic, Verratti, Fabinho or Vidal, in my opinion. Can see them all doing well in the EPL. Well, what a comment that is from Lynn, actually, because it's got my creative juices flowing, so to speak, and I'm thinking, you know, if United signed 2 out of Milankovic, Savic, Verratti, Fabinho and Vidal, I will be very happy in August. And which 2 would you take? Oh, I'm like a kid in a sweet shop and all my sweets are there. There's a party in my mouth and you're all invited. I'm really... God, Milankovic, Savic, Verratti, Firmino or Vidal, which 4 would I take? I'll be happy with any 4. Selfishly, I'd take Milankovic, Savic and Fabinho. But Vidal and Verratti would be great. Yeah, I think we'd get different combinations out of those 4, definitely. Another player I do want to mention, Douglas Costa at Juventus. Now, if you've watched, I really like Douglas Costa. I think he's about 27 now. We were linked to him last summer. around the time we were trying to get Perisic, there was talk of Douglas Costa as well. I remember doing a few shows where we mentioned him, and very, very well thought of amongst the United Stand community, and a lot of you who would have been watching the shows back then. I really like Douglas Costa, and I watched him against Spurs, and a couple of times during the game he just looked world class. He does have a tendency to go a little bit quiet, and when he's on it, he's on it. When he's off it, he's very, very quiet. A bit, a bit like Nani, really. But a lot of players are like that. I would welcome him at Manchester United if we can do it. Now, I know a lot of people are probably already saying in the live comments, we can't. He's just moved to Juventus. He hasn't actually moved to Juventus. He's on loan at Juventus till July, when Juventus have got first option on buying him for 40 million euros. Now, I suspect Juventus may well take up that offer, but they might not. They might not. And if they don't, then there is an opportunity there for Manchester United if they want to go for that player. Now, again, it's another player between 25 and 30. But, it's worth a mention. It's worth a mention. He's a very, very good winger. And you know what? I'm going to be a hypocrite on this, and I'll always put my hands up when I am. If I've got a choice between Justin Kluivert and Douglas Costa this summer, I'd probably go with Costa. And I know that goes against what I said last night. I'm fed up of signing players between 25 and 30, and we need to start doing what United do, and that's development. But what fits our manager better? Costa fits Manchester United at the moment better with Mourinho. I don't know how long Mourinho is going to be here. Do I want Mourinho developing 18, 19-year-olds? I want Manchester United to do that, but do I want Mourinho to do that? And I think Douglas Costa would do very well. He's done it in 2 leagues now. In fact, he's done it in 3 because he was in Russia, wasn't he? So he's a good player. We need Mark as United manager to master 3D. We don't. We have signed a Polish youngster already. He's a defender at Snubbed City, and he looks really exciting, says Daniel Degger. Yet again, another 15-year-old signed by Manchester United. I forget the name of him, but I saw it yesterday. So United are signing a Polish wonderkid defender that Man City wanted, but 15 years of age again. So we're signing a lot of these players. Can't wait to start seeing them come through. Mourinho, you know what there? I mean, just very, very quickly on that. If Mourinho's never been anywhere longer than 3 years, and I think people are getting too, like a year ago when it was going well, or in January, people, I really hope he's here for 5-10 years. I back Mourinho, but I'm not going to say I want him here for 5 years or anything like that. I just think let him do the 3 years. Let's see where we are next summer, not this summer. Let's see where we are next summer, because he might have won us the Premier League. We might be back down to 4th. I suspect we'll be in a much better position than we are now, because if you look at his time at United, there's been progress. But if Mourinho goes after 3 years, having got the club some stability back, and God pray, won the title, and then he goes, I would be forever applauding Mourinho and saying, look, you came into our club and did exactly what I wanted you to do. Win us a title and get us back on a footing where we can build again. Because that was the mistake we made after Sir Alex Ferguson. Won as many titles, but left as a title winner. Moyes broke the kingdom down. Van Gaal put petrol on it and burned it. And then Mourinho's come in, swept up, and started to try and build again. And that's what Mourinho's doing. So if Mourinho goes next summer, not this summer, and we're in a stronger position, and then you bring in whoever it is, whether it's Laurent Blanc or Ancelotti or Pochettino or anything like that, look at what will be in place if Mourinho makes that progress. All these youngsters that we're signing, all these youngsters we've got in the youth setup, decent signing, stability. I think for the next manager, whoever comes in, Mourinho has mentioned this, the next manager that comes in will take over something that is a team full of competent, confident players and a great youth setup. And if Mourinho, I think we take our eye off the ball of that, because that's something that I don't mention enough, but is really important to me as to why I believe Mourinho is the right man for now. It's about, would you want Pochettino to take United now? I think it would be very unfair, because it's like a painting that's it's not finished. I think Mourinho needs to have the 3 years. I think that's really, really important, and hopefully that will happen. Titi, we spoke about him last night, didn't we? When are you going to? Anthony Bino says, when are you going to stop defending Jose? He is messing up the good name of Manchester United. Well, you actually said Man U, which a lot of people would say is wrong. Well, I back Mourinho. I back Mourinho at the moment. There's no point in going on about it. And Daniel Dagger, I do like Laurent Blanc. We did the show last week. Really opened my eyes to him. Very, very good potential. He needs to get back into management. Saul Niguez is another centre midfielder I'd be more than happy with. Would work in the EPL, says Lynn Hall. Look, one thing I would say about transfer news is that we've been doing this for 3 years collectively with the live comments and everything, and you'll know that over 3 years we've probably spoken about 300 players. We do start talking about it through the year, and obviously March is closer to May. From May the 1st to August the 31st, we have a Transfer Daily show every morning at 7 AM. We're still live at 8 o'clock. We go live if there's any real transfer signings. And you become quite experienced in it, as I'm sure you are. What I will say to you now is, we did a show last March and tried to predict who we were going to sign. And we covered about 30 players. And I don't think any of them were signed. I'd have to go back and watch it myself. I'll have to find the video. But I don't think there was. And we went obscure. We basically were trying to find the signing that was going to be the Eric Bailly signing. You know, the left field signing that no one predicted. And actually, our Eric Bailly signing last summer was probably Lukaku. Because I don't think anybody expected us to go and get Lukaku. Matic, you could see why. Lindelof as well. But we'd already been linked to Lindelof actually in the previous January. Lukaku was probably the shock. Who's going to be our shock this summer? I think midfield. We probably don't know one of the midfielders we're going to sign. One of them we maybe do. I think we will sign two. One of them may well be Fabinho, Milankovic-Savic, Vidal, Verratti. It could Jorginho. It could be one of those five, and I hope it is. But I suspect one of the other midfielders, we've got no idea who it's going to be. He likes Eric Dyer. He tried to get Eric Dyer last year. As Lynn said, Saul Niguez. It excites me because we think, oh, we're just going to get Jorginho and Milankovic-Savic. I'd be stunned if we go inside, sign two midfielders from Serie A. I mean, Mourinho's managed in Serie A. He knows it very, very well. There is a risk to signing two players. There's the risk to signing any player from Serie A because the game is very, very different. As you'll have seen between AC Milan and Arsenal and Juventus and Spurs recently, the game is very, very different. It's slower, it's more tactical, and that's why I'm looking forward to watching Jorginho tonight and seeing how he adapts to it. So I'm excited to see what midfielders we're going to sign, and I guarantee you we will sign a midfielder that we've not really thought about yet. Maybe we will over the next few weeks, but Saul Niguez would be good, but I'm sure he signed a lifetime contract last summer as well. Who will be our youth player next year, says Jake Bullman. I wouldn't start saying Chong or Gomez. I think he'll go with Twan Sebi or Fosu Mensah, to be honest. And DWR Music is right. I think Saul has signed a 9-year contract or something ridiculous like that. Thoughts on Isco is that we're not going to sign him. That's what it is. And Andrew Kay's right. There's not been a lot of recent Serie A successes in the Premier League. Basically, defenders, forget it. Strikers, hit yes, some have been successful. Midfielders, a bit more hit and miss. So it's no guarantee, and I don't think we will. Andrew Southwick says, is there a show on here tonight? Not on the United Stand tonight. We are live on That's Football. The link is in the video description. Click it, subscribe, and join us at 7:45 tonight on That's Football because we're doing England versus Italy watch along. Watching Jorginho and Verratti with an eye on what might happen in the summer, but also a bit of a Q&A and, you know, keeping an eye on lots and lots of things that are going on. The board will not agree to get more than 4 players while we need 8, and Mourinho doesn't like youth players, so we will be stacked with the current squad, says JD. And if you could pick between Tuchel and Jardim, who would you choose? I ranked them both quite low last week, to be fair. Tuchel, I suppose. Ashay says it'd be amazing if Chong gets a look in next season. Do you see the news on Milankovic-Savic today, says Fortune? I haven't seen anything on Milankovic-Savic today. Let's have a quick look. That will... Well, I can tell you now. It's only going to verify what I'd said before. They've set a price of £132 million, which I think probably rules us out. £132 million. He's not worth that. He's £80 million. That's what he's worth. He's not worth anything more than that. And I know a lot about him, and he's not worth 132 million quid. And Lazio will not take 132 million quid. They'll take a lot less than that. They're not a rich club. He won't go for 132 million. But What might push his price tag up is the names like PSG and Real Madrid mentioned, because that's where United might lose out on this. And if Man City come in, we might have to make do, which would be really, not ideal. How much money will the board give Mourinho? I think 150 to 200 million. Probably 150 million net. Considering we'll be moving some players off. Zlatan's wages have gone. Hopefully Fellaini's will be gone. And I think we'll sell some players as well. So 150 million net, 200 million in total is probably available to be spent. And that's what? Three players, maybe 4. Taran says Jorginho and Fabinho and spare money would be good. Yeah, interesting summer ahead. Gareth Bale will leave as well. I'm not saying he's coming to United, but Gareth Bale will leave Real Madrid. Hazard's going to leave Chelsea, so there's going to be a lot of movement. Neymar could leave PSG. Verratti will probably leave PSG. So, be nice to have about 600 million, really, wouldn't it? But it is what it is. Spoiled fans, says Marvin. I don't think we're spoiled fans. I think we need a rebuild, and everybody accepts that. We do. Anyway, what was I going to say to you? Yes, if you click the eye in the top right hand corner, that is the link to our Patreon page. Thanks to everybody who signed up last night from the link when we mentioned it. So this is the United Stand exclusive members club. We've set it up because we're going to put some content on there that maybe doesn't fit with YouTube. We did the video last night on there, which is Sir Alex Ferguson's 11 compared to Mourinho's 11 with the current squad. Thanks for everyone who's commented on that video. Really interesting debate, isn't it, how it's opened it up, because we've got those players set up in that way. We could do that on Saturday, but Mourinho's never done it. But Sir Alex Ferguson would do that. We really want your ideas about what sort of content you want on there as well. We're going to do live streams on there. $2 a month for loads and loads of extra content, which will sit exclusively on the United Stand members page, which is on Patreon. The link is in the video description. And also you can click the eye in the top right hand corner. So get involved. Also, just as a personal thing, we're going to, might be a slow burner, it might not, but we do want as many of you lot to get involved. You'll really enjoy it on there. It's a comment section. Like I say, there'll be live streams on there. Nothing's going off YouTube. Somebody was moaning about this last night. We're still going to do every 8 o'clock show, watch alongs, fan cams, transfer news, 1 o'clock shows, which you get more of now as well. So nothing's changing on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram or anything like that. This is going to be just like an exclusive sort of members club, and we will be posting when we're going to do the live stream so everyone knows when it's going to be, and we're taking your ideas for content in there as well. So it's just, obviously the audience will be smaller than it is on here, and it will allow us to be a bit more intimate and interactive, which is what we've always prided ourselves on being. So link in the video description for that. And if you've got any ideas that would make you want to get involved in that, and $2 a month is what it's not even, it's about $5 for a pint these days, and for all that you'll get loads and loads of extra content. But drop me your thoughts in the comments as to what would make you want to join, and what sort of content you'd want to see on there, because we want people to move on to there. It will allow us to do our global get-togethers that we want to do. We want to do Dublin end of May. We want to do New York in August. But that's obviously going to cost a lot of money to get people like me and Flex and Jordan, the camera guy, over and stuff like that. So that's what we've set the Patreon page up for, exclusively for that. So the link in the video description, or click the eye in the top right hand corner. We've got that video up, the Sir Alex Ferguson one. We've got another one going up for you tomorrow. So there's going to be a lot of stuff on there, but we want your ideas. We want your ideas. So tonight, that's football as well for the England-Italy, Jorginho, Verratti watch along. Give us your thoughts on the transfers, and support the Patreon page as well. Get involved. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. When the valley was cold,